How y'all doing? You're gonna come to the first episode of the Weekly Scheme Podcast with your host, Mansa Musa Jr., and my guest host, Annette Gio. Yo, our first thing we're gonna get into is we're gonna talk about D Wade and his son Zaire, which they call Zaza, Zaya, whatever you want to call it. And him being 12 years old and wants to transition to be a woman.
Wait, D Wade's a basketball player,
Yes, he is.
and he's married to Gabrielle Union.
Yes, he is.
But Gabrielle Union is not the biological mother.
No, she's
Okay.
not the biological mother.
I want to make sure I have my facts straight.
Yeah. So he's saying that he wants to change from a little boy to a little girl, which means they want to cut off his penis and give him a vagina. What do you get mad for? I'm gonna tell her how it is because
I would just say cut off his parts and give him other parts.
well, I guess what?
Tuck it in and flip it around.
Yeah, well, that's a whole bunch of nasties. But I'm gonna
You
tell you this:
can say that.
he wants to be a woman,
Zaza.
and he's making a decision, and he's making his father do it. The whole problem that I have about this is the transgender thing and letting a 12-year-old tell a father what he wants to do.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I was about to say. You just said that he's making his father do it. How's a 12-year-old making a grown man do anything?
Because he told him that's what he wants to do, and his father said he's going to grant his son's wishes.
Okay, so he asked and the dad is accepting to do it, not that he said you're gonna do it and his dad's gonna go cut him a new one.
No, I feel like he has pressure. I feel like he has pressure.
Man, you need to sit up in your room and get it together.
I mean,
No.
I feel like he feels pressure from a lot of people in the LGBTQ, and they're making him feel like that he has to do it. I don't care what nobody say. And the only thing that bothers me is out of all this, because that's not Gabrielle Union's son. Either one of them, the two sons, that's not his her biological children. And the baby that he has in pictures, that's not Gabrielle Union's daughter.
Well, the shim is right here, right? This one. This
Yeah,
is the
him.
one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, shim, the she already looks like a girl. Why? I mean, what's the difference?
What do you mean? Because they keep dressing them up and putting clothes on them. Of course, you can make anybody start to look like a girl if you keep dressing them
I
up.
know. I'm just saying, like, leave him alone. Let him just dress, and then when he gets older, to know what his parts need to do, then change them. I mean, my opinion.
That's what I agree upon. I think that you should allow him to if he wants to be like that all the way up until it's his time of 18 years old or 19 years old, and then he wants to change, then let him. But they have statistics that are showing that's on the Weekly Scheme podcast group page that there are kids that by the time they grow old enough to make the judgment, they don't want to do it anymore.
Okay,
It's
so
at 80 to 90%.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that before you could get any kind of sex change, you need to go through this ridiculous mental evaluation. Like literally, like with psychiatrists and all kinds of stuff to make sure that you are making a conscious decision about what you're doing. And I don't think at 12 years old that's an appropriate age to make that decision. Am I right about that? I mean, I know there's guidelines. You can't just go into a doctor and say, hey, cut it off, tuck it in, whatever you got to do. There has to be, because you literally are changing your sex from a male to a female or vice versa. So there has to be some kind of psychological thing that they got to go through. I mean, I think there
No,
is
no,
something,
no. But no,
I believe.
you're on to something because there is a psych val that they have to do,
I
and
thought so.
D Wade has to, and or the mother has to give the consent for them to be able to go in there and question their child about why you want to do this. But they said they have already sat down with him and different psychiatrists already before this and said that he wants to do it and they're fine with the transition.
So Gabrielle Union and the basketball player are saying, what's the mom saying about it? Where's the biological mother?
Now that's the key thing. Throughout this whole ordeal, you never really hear from the mom. But me, because that's what I do, I did some studying on it. and I'm going to tell you because I have it written down. It's not all in my brain, but his non his ex-wife, her name is Siobhan Funches, and he was married to her between 2002 and 2000 and 2010. Uh, they had the two children, which she has two children with D Wade, Zion, uh, Zion Wade, which is the basketball player that plays with LeBron James' son, and you got Zaire. His middle name is Blessing. Zaire Blessing Dwayne Wade. Okay. So the thing with me is this woman has look what it says. She has where is it at? She has a bachelor's degree in psychology,
Oh.
a master's level certification in professional counseling,
Oh.
a doctorate in theology, a Juris Doctorate degree in law, where she graduated magna cum laude. I think that's how you say it. But that's
I
what
believe.
she went to school for. So I'm wondering, is she the one that's giving this child the psych eval?
That's what I was gonna wonder. I think it would be a biased opinion. I think I don't think you should be able to do that. I mean, at all,
No,
because
seriously, do you really think like she could be possibly the one that's doing it?
I mean, you would think that they would say that she has enough credentials to do it, but I think it would be a biased opinion. They'd be like, you can't do a psych eval on your child.
Yeah,
But then I
they
guess,
call it a conflict of
I
interest.
mean, I personally would say, yeah, let her do it, because if he screws around and in 10 years says, oh, I shouldn't have did it, you could blame it on your mom. I mean, you blame everything else you fear. You know what I'm saying? I let her do it. Oh, go ahead. It's my son. He lived in my stomach for 9 months, whatever. I made the decision because I'm so accredited. I have all these degrees. And if she screws up, she screws up. It's on her.
But if you notice, she's letting. If you look at the picture that you got to do to come into this live, Gabrielle Union is the one that's out in the open, and the one that's talking for this child like she's the mother.
Well, Gabrielle Union is already the B word. I heard she's a pretty nasty woman. So maybe she's the reason why there's the reason why she's at the forefront, because she's just nasty from what I heard. I don't
Well,
know
yeah, she's
personally.
nasty. She's the one.
Hey,
She's the one that's going on different interviews talking about it's okay to lick assholes because she licks
what?
D Wade's asshole. I'm telling you,
All right, so then why are you wondering why the son wants to be a gay?
I don't think that's it,
I
but
mean,
they're
what man is
allowing
going
it.
to admit, and what man is going to allow his woman to go on national television and talk about getting his ass licked? Like, there's
D
some
Wade.
wrong chromosome in that whole entire family. Why are we even having this conversation?
Well, D Wade always been walking around with tight ass pants. He been skeptical to me for a long time, for a lot of years.
Let me ask you a question. If I was Gabrielle Union, you were D Wade, and I went online and said that I was licking your ass, how would you feel?
Man, we be out in the streets fighting. The
What did
hell
he
out of
say
here.
about
Get
it?
that mic out my face. Yo, we be in the streets fighting. You ain't gonna be talking about you out
I
here
don't know
licking none
why
of my
we're questioning
butthole.
this. This sounds like a long
I
history
don't
of
even like when you try to
problems.
smack me on the butt. You know what I'm saying? But back to him. But like, but that's the serious thing about that though. That she has a doctorate in psychology. You know, and she's a counselor. Like how like and how is that not a conflict
Do
of
you think
interest
it's
with
a
your child?
publicity stunt? Because you got to
No.
understand everything going on in California. That's where the LGBTQRS is going from. I mean, they got that their water is polluted. They say that they're swimming in radioactive water because of that. You hear the cat
Hmm.
because of um that tsunami that hit that thing in Japan. So you got, so they're already swimming in water that's probably messing up their brain. They're already trying to ban the Bible out there, from what I heard. So, I mean, maybe this is a publicity stunt to get their family recognition. Like, hey,
But
we're,
why would
we're
they want to do
supporters,
well, why would they want to do a publicity stunt for what
because it's
purpose?
so up and coming, this whole LGBTQZ movement, that maybe they want to be like, oh, we were the founders and you guys, opened the road for us. And our son at his age was able to be who he wanted to be because you guys paved the road. And look, we support you so much. We spent $1 million or however much it is, because it's not cheap, to change it for him.
Yo, you know what though? Yo,
Point.
listen,
That is a good
that's a
point.
good point. Cause listen, people, what I'm about to say
And
to you,
maybe they can be the sponsors and they'll get paid off of it.
but listen,
It's
because
supposed to.
if they do that and they pass it and let this little boy do it,
Oh,
then yo, when he goes to school, then he's going to make sure that all the LGBTQ stuff gets into every single school because they
Now,
allowed that.
this is my question. Do you think that they
Hmm.
would be he would be targeted, she, shim, whatever would be targeted? Because in
They,
my
they said they
brain,
say the name is Zaya.
well, it's a shim. It's a she that wants to be a him. In my opinion, if I wanted to turn into a boy and my parents didn't have the money and you're walking around or a girl and you turned into a girl and I couldn't because my parents didn't have the money, I would want to beat your ass because I'd be jealous and envious. So do you think that would cause backlash?
Okay. Do you really think that they would let any of that go down? The LGBTQ, you think they would let any of that go down?
No, I don't.
They are worse than the ADL for the Jews.
I think it's a I can't even say a publicity stunt.
I don't think it's a publicity stunt.
I
I
do.
think the boy is really sensitive, and they're playing on him being real sensitive. Because
But
I know
look
a
at all
lot of
the
people that grew up
factors.
that were sensitive, but they're not gay. They had kids. They didn't come out to be gay yet. Still, they could be in a closet, but they still didn't come out. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to put all this stuff forward. You know what I'm saying? And also, I wanted to say this about the mom. The mom is she follows Jesus Christ. She's a public speaker and an author. You know, and her book that she wrote was called You Gotta Let God Finish. So that's another reason why I think that she doesn't want to go out to the forefront of it
God didn't
because it's going to
finish.
make her look bad in what she's been trying to do. Seriously, because D Wade's had these kids the whole entire time.
But
If
if
you remember, he's always had them.
well, first off, I didn't know who he was until you brought him to my attention. But if you look at all the mechanics of this, it's the perfect storm. You
Perfect
already
storm for what?
all right. You already have the dad
Hmm.
that has no problem with his girl going online saying all this nasty stuff about what should be kept in the bedroom,
Hmm.
making him look suspect. You have Gabrielle Union, who is pretty prominent figure in the media world, whatever you want to say. She's an asshole and she has a voice, and she's going to be the first one that's going to stick up for him because she's just nasty with it. So she's going to get her way, I think. You have the mom that has a whole list of stuff going on with her. You have the LGBTQ, I can never say it
You
right,
just said it
that
right.
is like starting started in California. I think it's a publicity stunt. I mean, I think somehow it's going to fuel that whole fire, and they're somehow going to make off of it. They're going to get a residual income. And then he's going to get tucked and he's going to be able to walk around
But they
and have a vag and not be able to
but
reproduce
they
kids. It
have
makes no
been
sense.
in the news forever. Before they did this with this boy, this little boy that's 12 years old that wants to turn into a female. Listen, it's been between Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. Okay, let me tell you what they've been going through. First of all, she said she went on live air in the interview and said she there's nothing wrong with a woman licking her man's asshole. So that means that you're licking D Wade's asshole, okay? And then second of all, you're pissed off still because D Wade went out and had a baby on you, okay? And then and it got leaked out to the media, and he had to come home and tell you. So if you're pissed off about that, I don't think you really care about those kids' well-being. Talking about you think that it's fine that that boy want to turn to a girl. I think it's wrong, man. That's not society, man. It's my opinion, and I don't think that a little boy should be doing that. He's 12 years old.
I
They
don't
should
think so
be
either.
the adult and say, you're not doing none of that crap. If you want to walk around here switching, then that's what you can do. You're gonna wear boys' clothes. I don't care if you get mad when you get old enough, 18 or 19 years old, and you get up out of this house. I'll give you a bank account. You can go out there and do whatever you want to do. But the statistics show that kids that are held back from it, trying to turn from a male to a female or a female to a male, by the time they get to that age, they change their mind and don't want to do it. It's between 80 to 90%.
All right, so you can say that Gabrielle Union don't care about him because they're not her kids, but the dad's supporting it. Who
Yeah,
do you
he
think's
is.
going to fund it?
But he's listening to her because they're supposed to be the perfect couple.
That don't mean nothing. You don't
Yes,
know if
it
they're the
does.
perfect couple. There's a lot of things that go on behind the closed doors that you don't
Evidently,
know
if
about.
he's sitting, but he's sitting on that daggone railing with that baby. That ain't Gabrielle
I don't
Union
think it's a
baby.
publicity stunt where they're just trying to fake. I think they're going to get something off of it. Well, what is that? What do you call that? They're going to make
What?
some money. I think they're going to. I think if this goes through, it's gonna open doors for this LGBTQ nonsense,
I
and they're
believe
gonna.
that. I
But
do.
what is that
It's an
called?
agenda.
It's not only agenda; it's a hidden motive, whatever. But I think there's. I think it's Not a. I think it is a publicity stunt. Not a publicity stunt like they're just trying to fake us out because it probably will happen. I just think that it's a bigger monster that they're trying to fuel. Oh, we got two of you. We got viewers. Hey guys.
But listen, I'm gonna tell you, man, with the whole grand scheme of things, I'm gonna tell you like this: this whole agenda that they got, these gay men, the guy that's going on Sesame Street,
No, he hasn't went on Sesame Street
well,
yet.
he taped it. He's taping
Yeah,
stuff
but
on
how
there.
many times have you seen Sesame Street advertise who they're going to have on television? And I mean, they obviously know what they're doing wrong because I've never seen a commercial saying, "Hey, we're going to put this person on. How do you feel about it?" And there is a petition where parents are signing. So
Man,
they're
they
not,
don't
yo,
care
if
about that
they put
crap.
that on after that petition size, people are going to be
Okay,
hot.
they said LGBTQ wouldn't be able to go into schools. It's in schools. Okay, so you
Well,
tell me that they're going to care about that stuff going on Sesame Street and little kids? They teaching it to kids in school. Okay,
well, you got a
so
point.
you think that's really gonna mess them up going on Sesame Street? But look, back to my point. They got that guy on Sesame Street, black dude. You got the D Wade's son trying to transition a little boy, 12 years old, from a male to a female.
It's all agenda against
It's a
black males.
man. Listen, it's a black male thing.
It
That's
is.
my opinion because you're not seeing. Only when's the last time you heard about somebody changing? What was the guy that Bruce Jenner? That was the last time you heard about something. Tell me I'm right or wrong.
Yeah, you are right.
What's the last one you heard of a white male?
Changing?
Yeah, or out there flamboyant
Well,
as
all
hell.
that I know is that
Last
when
one I seen that was flamboyant was Versace, and he got murdered in front of his house.
well, he didn't change. He was just gay.
But the point, what I'm saying is
Versace,
that's the
Versace,
last
Versace.
flamboyant one you seen.
Yeah, but he didn't change.
But it don't matter because the guy that's going on Sesame Street didn't change anything.
Oh, he was just.
He
Oh,
was
you're
just
talking
he's
about the
just gay.
flamboyant. I got
You
you.
get what I'm saying?
I do.
So at the end of the day, if he's going out there, it was Versace, but that was years ago. He's
Versace.
gone. Okay. Then you had what? You had Bruce Jenner that
Bruce
changed
Jenner.
from a male to a female.
Who was the other guy that was real prominent? Well, you got like Elton John. You got the guy. Who's the guy who played piano?
But they're not putting the forefront of the media keeps on, hey, this is in the media, that Sesame Street things in the media crazy, and it's black males. There's a whole bunch of then they had the thing where all those black guys were on the red carpet. All those black males, dudes was going out there with the shades that were robotic going around their face. Like, yo, it's a whole bunch of black males.
Where was this at?
The red carpet, I think they just did it for like the Grammys. I'm telling
Oh,
you,
I
you got to
didn't
look
watch
it up.
that.
Like I've done my homework on this crap, man. Like I think it's a black agenda, man. They're putting it out there for black people to look like
Well,
they're
do we
crazy.
know like who founded the LGBT? Like, was it like a PTA group of moms, or was it like
Man,
people in
listen, I can tell you the truth.
Congress,
I
or who
don't
was
know.
it?
I don't know.
I think that we need to
Now,
find that out. I think we need to
you know
get to
what?
the core of things and find out who actually found this group. Is it a group of black males, black females, white people, Donald Trump supporters? We're googling.
Yeah, watch me. Yeah, we gonna Google it.
Stay tuned for a joke. Knock knock.
Right.
Just to say who's there.
Yo, what? What the heck? Yo, the gay rights movement in the United States began in the 1920s and saw huge progress in the 2000s with laws prohibiting certain things. The LGBTQ, here it go right here. Because you know the best thing you can go to
It's a
is
movement.
Wikipedia.
There's no particular person. It's a big group of fags.
But it
It's
was
a bundle of sticks.
caused by homophobia and transphobia.
So a bundle of fags,
Yeah.
as in this case, was not a bundle of sticks,
Okay.
got
But
together.
listen, the goals why they made LGBTQ, it was all the different names put into the
Yeah,
all the letters.
men's,
It
beach,
was
and
increasing legal rights for LGBTQ people, increasing acceptance of LGBT people, countering internalized homophobia and internalized transphobia. Its methods are civil resistance, coming out, consciousness, raising direct action.
boom.
And that's a bunch of bullcrap to me.
Well, I look at it like this. If you're going to have a child, you know how I feel about transgender and LGBTQ, whatever. And I think as a parent, they have to support their child because the world is ugly, it's wicked, and kids are really, really nasty. So I think as parents, they should support their child. But my thing is this: when I had gay people growing up in school, you just let them dress however the hell they want to dress. And then when you got older and you realize, okay, well, Melissa really isn't a boy, or you know what I'm saying? Then when you were old enough to comprehend, that's when you found out. But you never got into the logistics of it. So if they want to support their child, and I think that they should, because I mean, home base, you're looking for your parents' support before you can get it somewhere else. But I think letting him go full fledged into a surgery at 12 years old is nonsense. And I think that there's a reason they would let that happen. And I think it would be fueling this LGBTQ's agenda. I think they would all be making off on it. And I think if somebody actually does let this go through, I think it would only better benefit them. Because then you could be like, oh, it's okay to put this on Sesame Street. It's okay to put this in schools. It's okay because guess what? We got 11 years old tucking and nipping and nonsense.
Yeah, that's why, like, if you allow this child, because it is their prerogative, because it's their child, but you don't have to be flamboyant with it. You don't have to be taking them to LGBTQ parades where there's men out there with hanging body parts hanging out. Like a 12-year-old child should not see that, man. Like I'm being serious. Like this is like really like a real thin line. I don't play these type of games. I don't dislike them because they can live anywhere they want. But when you try to push it on a normal society, I don't think that's fair. It's not fair, and you should not be doing it to a 12-year-old child
Why did it come out in the news anyway? Like, did he
because
come
because
out
they
and say,
keep talking about it.
yeah, but who came out? Like, did
D
Gabrielle?
Wade, D Wade, and Gabrielle Union keep coming out with it. That's why I said it started with them. They started
Um,
putting this out there, making it look all crazy, and I was like, why? Like, what is your purpose of putting this out there, making this kid look crazy? And then before, he wasn't really the flamboyant the way he is now. He wasn't like this until they started coming out with it, and he started to really get all crazy with it, walking around with scrunchies on, you know what I'm saying, and twisting his hair up. Because before he used to have a little afro. Like I remember that boy, man, when he was little.
well, maybe they were trying to put it out there because you like to point out your flaws or your problems before anybody else sees it. So maybe they wanted to pull it out there because like people were noticing and they just want to be like, yeah, we know. So we're just going to discuss it openly. I just cannot believe that at 12 years old they're actually considering it. I mean, is this up for debate or is this something that they're definitely going to do and they're just letting them? I just don't know why the
No,
world needs to
there
know.
it's not up for debate. They're going to do it. That's the point
I
of
think
why
it's
I said
fueling
that I wanted
something.
to talk about this situation because they are going to do it. It's not a thought anymore. They're going to do it, and I think it's wrong. The
I think
kid's
it's wrong
12
too.
years old. He shouldn't do it.
Well, he might think that he's getting what he wants, but like you said, the statistics show that they come back and
He's showing the
they don't want
typical
to
thing of a 12-year-old, though. He's being a spoiled brat.
because the parents are enabling him to be that. I'm telling you, there is something greater than just this guy and Gabrielle Union. I can't remember his name. Just trying to put it
D
out there
Wade.
that they have their son that's gay and they're getting a sex change and they support it. There's a bigger agenda than them just putting that out there. And I think it centers around this LGBTQ whatever nonsense. I think it's going to open up so many doors that right now are slammed shut,
Yeah, like
and they're going to
you know
get some
what's you
from
know
it.
what's crazy because like they don't even reference
Where's the
this. They
mom?
don't reference this child as a he anymore. Already, they're saying she.
Well,
They say she. We need to protect her joy. That's what they're saying. They don't even call her he anymore.
I can vouch that I took my son for a checkup, and every single time I go there, I have to fill out that paperwork. And from now on, they actually ask you, does your child identify as being a transgender? Do we call him a him or him or her? Like they literally ask that on the paperwork.
They
And
do what?
they literally ask on the paperwork if your child is transgender and whether they should call the child a him or her. I swear to God, my hand to God, because
Yo, next time we go in there, I want to see that.
my
Like
hand
that's
to
bull
God,
crap.
because I said, why would they have this on a paperwork? I'm bringing a 3-year-old child in here about a sinus infection. And as you know, these pediatricians still see kids up to being 18 years old, which I think is nonsense. Pediatrician is for kids, not 18-year-olds. And they literally told me, the nurse told me they had to put that on the paperwork because there are people or kids within their practice that actually got the sex change. and they're coming to them with STDs.
What?
Yes, I swear to God, this is what the nurse said. They're coming to the pediatrician to talk to them about getting, like, they had an STD, and she would tell them, we're a pediatrician, we're like a family practice. You'd have to go to like a gynecologist or something for that. I swear to God, that's what happened in Elijah's last appointment. I swear to God, the paperwork says, is your child identified as a transgender or
Yo,
not? And you
listen.
have to tell them and what they go by. Do they go by their
They have
name?
this world vibrating
I'm
at
telling
such
you,
a low energy. It is disgusting,
it
man.
is.
It's vibrating so low. Like it don't make any sense,
It
man. Like
doesn't.
I don't know why they feel like they have to push this on a society. Like
Because I asked her that.
this is crazy. It don't make any sense. You should not push it. Like they
I
get so
agree.
mad. This is what I don't understand. Listen to what I'm saying. They get mad if we say anything to them,
Right.
okay?
It's a hate
But
crime in
then
California.
it's a hate crime. Exactly. But if they try to push what they believe on us and coming into school, start teaching us, and we don't want our children to look at it or hear it, they say,
We're be
"Hey,
biased.
you're gay bashing. You're going against what we believe." Well, what about you going against what we believe? Hmm?
Agreed. Agreed. But what's going to happen?
Nothing. They're gonna push us over and say they don't care about none of
The
our
evil's
feelings,
going to
and you're
rule.
gonna
They're going
take
to
it.
run us over.
This is the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah.
I agree.
This is what they're doing
I
to
agree.
society. They're running around. The most powerful nation, Sodom and Gomorrah was one of the most powerful nations, but when you came to this country, it was all types of nasty, vibrating, low type stuff going on in every city of Sodom and Gomorrah. Look it up. It's true. I studied it. It's nasty. That's what
Is
America's
that
turning
where
into.
sodomites came from?
Yeah, exactly. They were
Oh.
doing all types. They were having sex with children.
Oh, I don't want to hear all
They were
this.
doing everything.
I don't want to
And
hear all
that's what
this.
America has turned out to be. Allowing this child to do this out in the open like it's something normal is not right. If you
Exactly.
want to be gay, if you want to be transgender, you should have your own community.
Thank you. They
That's
should
what
have
you
their
should be
own
allowed to have.
schools, their own
Your own
community, everything.
teach
I
whatever you want to
agree.
teach.
I agree. I don't want to read when I take my 3-year-old into the doctor's a pamphlet of whether I got to let them know if my son thinks he's transgender or not. And I asked her, I said, why are you doing this? You guys are a pediatrician. And she literally told me that kids all the way up till 18 still go there. And I said, don't you guys have an age that you cut it off? And she said,
How,
no.
how does a child know that he's, you know what I don't
They
understand?
literally told
How
me,
can a child say, yo, I feel like a girl inside? Or girls say, I feel like a boy inside.
well, because girls want to play, they say that if they want to be a tomboy and they want to play, do guy stuff, and they want to dress like a dude, and
It was a tomboy. It
they're
was in
not.
our time. That was fine. Go ahead and be a tomboy. You would walk around with jeans on. You would walk around with kicks on. You have your hair cut a certain way. But you know what? You still mingled among us, and you didn't force anything on us.
Well, what causes it?
But
They
now,
say,
so what changed from then till now to why you're forcing it down our throats? Why?
well, first off,
Because that's the agenda that you're trying to do. They're forcing it down our throats.
they say that when you're gay, you're actually born without a chromosome or an extra chromosome or something. So maybe
Men have an X and a Y.
we just didn't want to talk about this extra.
So I can
we're
be
missing.
so I could so you could you're saying that I could turn gay.
I think no, 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 no. They say that when kids are born, they're born without an extra chromosome or a missing chromosome, and you're at birth already destined to have your sexual orientation.
And if
picked.
anybody's watching this,
Because
if
of
you
the
can
chromosome,
if you can prove that to me,
swear.
man, that'd be the best thing ever to me. I
Please.
want to see that.
Please, please, there is something in that they're saying that when you were born, that you had this chromosome thing and that you were already.
I don't believe it.
I swear to God, that's where they said that you came out. So you didn't come out like, okay, I'm a woman, or okay, I'm a boy, or okay, I'm a girl, and I'm going to decide in my life whether I'm going to be gay or not. You were actually born because of this chromosome defectiveness, or whatever you want to say, and that's what happened.
Okay,
well, what
chromosome are they missing that makes them like that?
I don't know. Google it. This is what I heard.
Somebody out here
Wow.
better go in the Weekly Scheme podcast page on our group page, and if there's a chromosome that makes a child think that they should be a boy or a girl, and they're trapped in another's body, the other one's body, show me where that is.
Listen,
please.
I don't come up with much because I don't know a lot. I just know a little bit about a lot. But I know back in the day they said that you did not have the choice to come out gay or not. That it actually something came out wrong at birth and you were born, but then you just thought, okay, I want to be a boy, or okay, I want to be a girl, whatever. That's how it is. I'm telling you, that's what they taught us. I don't remember where I learned it, but I remember I heard it. I know I'm not the only one who heard it.
Man, well, listen, I don't believe that nobody is born like that.
I'm telling you, that's what they said. I agree. I agree. Like, what
Yo,
are the
you want to know
chances?
something? Listen, I'm gonna tell you, this is a
Oh
true
no.
story. This is a true story. I had a uncle. His name was Rollin. And when I was a little kid, I used to look at him. I used to be like, yo, why does that mean? I said, yo, why Uncle Rollin be walking around switching and he always be around men all the time?
Ask Siri. Just ask her. I'm telling you, ask Siri. I don't know. I think the reason why it's because look at how the world has changed. Before, back in the day, you wouldn't even hear them say damn on a TV show. It taught you, wholesome values. It showed family. It showed like little stuff. And then soon, it started adding more stuff in there, more stuff, and then they slip a curse word in there, and then they do a little bit more, and they do a little bit more until finally it's all blown out of proportion. We have the LGBTQ, whatever the hell it is, pushing this. We have Cal. It's all coming out of Cali. They're banning the Bible. They're doing this. They're promoting all this. What do you call it? Holly weirdos or something?
Holly weird.
Holly weird. That's what's happening. And the more, the longer it goes on, the more we're getting exposed to. It's just how thin. Look at how it was when we were growing up to now. And when our kids get older, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it's bull crap. I don't understand.
So I don't know why you're so surprised about this Dwayne Robinson guy.
Listen, when we knew about it, back in the day, they hid it.
Yeah.
I want to understand, what is the purpose of these people putting this out here and shoving it down our throats? That's the problem I have. And what is your agenda of trying to do that? Why? Because before it wasn't like that, and they had people back then that were fighting for their rights, but they weren't so open about it like that.
All right, so what happened in the story about the Sodom and Gomorrah? What was the purpose of that story? Besides all to tell you about the nasty stuff that was going on, what happened? Did the empire fall? Did it burn? What happened? What was the point of the story?
The point of the story is Sodom and Gomorrah. America is that now.
Yeah.
Because that was the past thing.
Well, what was the story in the Bible? What did they teach you?
They taught you that those people, it was a powerful nation, and all they were doing when you were going to the cities was doing homosexual things, a whole bunch of drugs, but it was more homosexual activity going on, pedophilia. It was a lot of craziness going on in the streets, not just indoors, in the streets.
Okay, so because it was so nasty and it was a place that let all this go on, what happened? Did they just continue to rule as a huge nation and
for a while and then God, he took it and he destroyed the whole city.
Okay, well maybe that's what we are. Maybe we're a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, and we're waiting till for God to destroy the world and bring back the dinosaurs.
It's see, look, see, he just said it. He said that chromosome thing ain't true.
I swear to God, I heard
Casey,
it. Casey, I swear to God.
They said
our
feedback is bad on here.
Oh.
Yo, but yeah, Casey, thank you. I don't think that.
I swear I heard it. I mean, I don't believe it's true, but I swear that I heard that. That's what they were saying it was.
I don't think it's true.
I heard it. I'm not saying it's true, but I've heard it
before. I don't think it's true. I think it's a bunch of bull crap. They're just using that as an agenda, just to do what they want. That's all it is.
I mean, I swear I heard it somewhere.
No, it's bull crap. I'm telling you.
I didn't just come up with that on my own.
No, I've heard it before, but I just said I just never. I'm not saying that you made it up. I'm just saying that I don't believe that. It's a lie. It's a lie that they made up, because I don't think that somebody just. I've never met, and I've met a lot of people. I met a lot of people, and they've never. I never once have I seen a child come up to me, or I see it acting strange, and they go, "I want to be." It say it was a girl, and she goes, "I want to be a boy," or it's a boy, and I walk up to them, and they say, "I want to be a girl." I've always felt like I've never seen them. They're rare to me, like a dinosaur bone. I'm telling you the truth. I've never seen somebody say that to me.
I just think that the LGBT is a huge monster that we need to worry about, and I think that they are looking for somebody that can be in the spotlight. And what's better than a basketball player that's famous, his wife that's famous, she's in shows, she was just on what, The Voice, or that America's Got Talent, whatever. So I think that they just needed a big platform to stand on. And what better than a family that is famous to say, hey, I have a gay kid, and hey, I'm going to support a sex change.
Yeah. So
And
somewhere
they're
down the line,
starting
yeah.
here. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have, Shaq's daughter had a baby and it's going to come out. And what's going to happen is all these famous people are going to come out and say, hey, guess what? We are going to share our story because where are they going to be seen? They're going to be seen on the media, through the media, on TV, on the news, on all this kinds of nonsense. It's going to reach all the masses, and that's what's going to fuel this whole agenda for the LGBT, whatever the hell it is. I can't even remember it.
Yeah,
That's
you
what's
know
going to
what?
fuel. That's what I
And
think.
I 100% agree with you. I
Thank you.
100% agree with what you just said
Yeah,
because it is, and you
they
know what
don't care
I
about
think
us. Nobody's going to
was
hear
this the
from
word
us.
you were looking for? Spokesperson.
Yes,
There you
they're
go.
going to use them as the
They're going to be the
spokesperson.
spokesperson for it.
Absolutely, because they don't care shit about us. Were they gonna? I mean, what do they care if our kids' gay is gonna get thing over here? We can't even afford it. We'd have to refinance the
And you
house.
want to know
But
something
you
else?
got them.
Okay, this is the other thing I wanted to tell you about this stuff that they do to black men in film. They try to make them wear a dress. All comedians they try to do it to, and all of them have come out and said it. So it's not a fairy tale. They did it to Martin. You see him wear it. They've done it to what's his name?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. He said he wouldn't do it, but he ended up doing it. They did it to who else did they do it to? They did it. Who's the guy that did Joanna Man? He acted like a female,
Uh, Joanna
and
Man.
he was a comedian.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx did it. They tried to make who's the one dude do it?
All
I
right,
feel,
so this is getting bigger than the sex change. So
yes,
this is
it's a
it.
whole agenda.
But what would the
But they're
LGBTQ have to
twisting.
do with the
They're
black
doing
people?
this to pass the LGBTQ agenda through. This is what they're going to use it for. Because they say when you want something, yo, those people that used to try to get energy and suck life out of things, you know what they used to go after? Do you know?
The women.
No, they used to go after little kids. They say because little kids' energy is pure.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's what they do it for. That's why pedophilia is so high.
I don't even want to talk about this. I
But
don't need to
but
talk
you
about
got
this.
to talk about it because it's in your face. They're cramming it down our throat, so they're going to have to take the backlash that we're giving them because it's not right. If we don't want to live like this, we have a right to fight back.
It just saddens me as a parent because you never heard about this when I was a kid, and it's just like you have like police officers and government officials and people in prominent positions that are getting busted for child pornography and all kinds of stuff, and it's just like I want to go back to the 90s when dial-up came out. Like this stuff is too much for me, and like even talking about this now, like you got a little 12-year-old that wants to have a woman part. Like for what? So you can wipe it differently. You don't have to shake it when you're getting done pissing. Like so it doesn't poke out when you're wearing a dress. Like tuck that shit. Like what do you need it for? I don't understand. You're
It's
not gonna be able
it's
to
a
do anything
whole
with it. You're not
agenda,
gonna be able to have babies. Like what's the point?
and it's a whole agenda, and they're using
I think they're
black
using it
people to
as a
do it,
spokesperson.
and they're using black people to do it. I'm telling you, everybody can look at me like I'm crazy,
I
like
don't
I'm
know.
saying something. I'm telling you, this is why I started this podcast. I'm gonna teach you something. Watch, you're gonna look up and you're gonna be like, "Yo, he was right. He was right." Stop mocking me. Yeah, but you're gonna say I was right. I'm telling you, because you can see it as plain as day.
You know what? And when it does happen, like let's say in 6 months to a year, everybody's gonna be like, "Yo,
I'm telling
do
you,
you remember that guy?"
you'll start listening to me. You'll be like, yo, you'll take. Well, you don't have to listen to me. Just if I start to prove stuff to you, just say, okay, yeah, you know what, you were right,
He could be like the Sarah Connor of the podcast world. Remember from Terminator?
man. Listen, this is our first one. We doing it live. You know what? There's a little you could have hiccups here and there, but yo, when I get on my game, it's gonna be a problem out here.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna
could
be a
be playing
problem.
Farm Heroes right now, get ready to go to bed. But
Then,
I'm here with y'all talking about that. What is it? LGBTQ?
yep.
That
And
sons of
it's
bitches.
going to get better. That's why I started this weekly scheme podcast because yo, in this grand scheme of things, everything's gonna be involved in it. Everybody's gonna say something in that group, in the group on Facebook, and then I'm gonna take it out and we're gonna talk about it. And people are gonna have to start getting on and entertaining what we doing, because you'll be able to talk and have your opinion. And then when I connect that line, you'll be able to call in and everything. Everybody can hear you. You can state your opinion. You ain't gonna get cut out.
I
You'll
want
be
to see
there.
what the I want to see how the LGBT is involved in this. I want to see if there's somebody backing them, or how I know if we research enough. I want to see how they're involved. I guarantee you they're
I
involved
want to
in
know.
this.
I just want to know who funds them,
Who
because
funds who?
wherever you, if you follow the money, you'll always find somebody. It's always somebody.
Do you think it's the Jews? Well, wait a second. I mean, come on. We could get in a whole big conversation about like
Who knows?
the strings and run this stuff and run the money and have all these
Oh,
people doing all that. I mean, we
they
could
ain't
say
ready for me
that.
with that yet.
We could say that.
That's gonna be somewhere
I
down the
mean,
line.
we
They're
could
not ready for
really,
me with
really,
that.
really spin off a lot of different branches from this tree. But all we know is that the LGBT is a five-headed monster, and that bitch is ugly, and that bitch is coming out of California, and it needs to stay its ass over there. And conveniently, they're in California. They are the best platform that the LGBT can have. They're famous. People look up to them. Oh, your dad's a basketball player. I want to be a basketball
Yo,
player. Oh, your mom.
they take that 12-year-old boy. They take that 12-year-old boy to those parades where all those men be
I
acting crazy
saw
out there.
his. I
That's
mean,
bad.
look
That's
with
pretty
his
bad.
unicorn horn.
But you know
He ain't
what?
gonna stick nothing if he don't keep his unicorn horn, is he?
Hey,
No,
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But I was going to touch
I
on
don't
the
know.
I was going to touch on the topic. I'm glad I had me a little co-host right here, Annette Geo.
Sorry.
You know,
I
my,
tried, guys.
my
I tried.
and we just gonna talk about it, man. But this thing's gonna get started. It had to come out. It was sorry for a little bit about the feedback, but you got to go and like all the
Well, we
different
had it
things
in
on
the
Twitter.
stream. I
We
mean, come
got
on,
we
we
got
gave
the
you a
Twitter.
visual.
We got Instagram. We got the YouTube, the Weekly Scheme Podcast. You just put that in there. That's where we at. It's gonna get better. It's our first one, but you know what I'm
His
saying.
first one.
You live and you learn. You know what I'm saying. So thank you for who came through. And y'all have a good night.
We wish
And
you a blessed
we yeah,
Wednesday,
we are going to have
full of
more
positive
topics.
thoughts.
We're going to have more topics put in that Weekly Scheme Podcast group, and everybody get on it. And then once it goes down, we want to talk about it.
But we need to
Whatever
talk about this because there's a lot of ways this
whatever is
thing could spin off.
popping, that's how we're going to talk about it. And that's just the way it's going to happen.
I'm proud of you. I think that it's really, really great that you have a voice for the people
For the
and you can
people.
see things out the box.
Yeah, well, you
I
got it.
think you're the Sarah Connor of the 2020.
Oh, stop it. Oh, I'm blushing.
You might have
But
machines walking around
but
for the LGBT. You never know.
But thank you, everybody
Terminators.
that came out and seen us. You were all in the grand scheme of things, and it's just going to get better. Thank you,
Better.
everybody, and have a good night.
Have a good night.